What is a job tracker in Hadoop? How many instances of JobTracker run on a Hadoop cluster? JobTracker is the daemon service for submitting and tracking MapReduce jobs in Hadoop. There is only one JobTracker process run on any Hadoop cluster. JobTracker runs on its own JVM process. In a typical production cluster, it's run on a separate machine. Each slave node is configured with JobTracker node location. The JobTracker is single point of failure for the Hadoop MapReduce service. If it goes down, all running jobs are halted. JobTracker in Hadoop performance following actions. What is a task tracker in Hadoop? How many instances of task tracker run on a Hadoop cluster? A task tracker is a slave node daemon in the cluster that accepts tasks from a job tracker. There is only one task tracker process run on any Hadoop slave node. Task tracker runs on its own JVM process. Every task tracker is configured with a set of slots. These indicate the number of tasks that it can accept. The task tracker starts a separate JVM process to do the actual work. This is to ensure that process failure does not take down the task tracker. The task tracker monitors these task instances, computing the output and exit codes. When the task tracker instances finish successfully or not, the task tracker notifies the job tracker. The task trackers also send out heartbeat messages to the job tracker, usually every few minutes, to reassure the job tracker that it is still alive. These messages also inform the job tracker of the number of available slots, so the job tracker can stay up to date with where in the cluster work can be delegated. How job tracker schedules a task. The task trackers send out messages to the job tracker, usually every few minutes, to reassure the job tracker that it is still alive. These messages also inform the job tracker of the number of available slots, so the job tracker can stay up to date with where in the cluster work can be delegated. When the job tracker tries to find somewhere to schedule a task within the MapReduce operations, it first looks for an empty slot on the same server that hosts the data node containing the data, and if not, it looks for an empty slot on a machine in the same rack. What is the task instance in Hadoop? Where does it run? Task instances are the actual MapReduce jobs which are run on each slave node. The task tracker starts a separate JVM process to do the actual work. This is to ensure that process failure does not take down the task tracker. Each task instance runs on its own JVM process. There can be multiple processes of task instance running on a slave node. This is based on the number of slots configured on task tracker. By default, a new task instance JVM process is spanned for a task. How many daemon processes run on a Hadoop system? Hadoop is comprised of 5 separate daemons. Each of these daemons run in its own JVM. Following 3 daemons run on master nodes. NameNode. This daemon stores and maintains the metadata for HDFS. Secondary NameNode performs housekeeping functions for the NameNode. JobTracker manages MapReduce's jobs, distributes individual tasks to machines running the task tracker. Following 2 daemons run on each slave node. Data node stores actual HDFS data blocks. Task tracker responsible for instantiating and monitoring individual map and reduce tasks. What is configuration of a typical slave node on Hadoop cluster? How many JVMs run on a slave node? Single instance of a task tracker is run on each slave node. Task tracker is run as a separate JVM process. Single instance of data node daemon is run on each slave node. Data node daemon is run as a separate JVM process. One or multiple instances of task instance is run on each slave node. Each task instance is running as a separate JVM process. The number of task instances can be controlled by configuration. Typically, a high-end machine is configured to run more task instances. What is the difference between HDFS and NAS? The Hadoop Distributed File System is a distributed file system designed to run on commodity hardware. It has many similarities with existing distributed file system. However, the differences from other distributed file systems are significant. Following are differences between HDFS and NAS. In HDFS, data blocks are distributed across local drives of all machines in a cluster, whereas in NAS data is stored on dedicated hardware. HDFS is designed to work with MapReduce system since computation are moved to data. NAS is not suitable for MapReduce since data is stored separately from the computation. HDFS runs on a cluster of machines and provides redundancy using a replication protocol, whereas NAS is provided by a single machine, therefore does not provide data redundancy. How NameNode handles data node failures. NameNode periodically receives a heartbeat and a block report from each of the data nodes in the cluster. Receipt of a heartbeat implies that the data node is functioning properly. A block report contains a list of all blocks on a data node. When NameNode notices that it has not received a heartbeat message from a data node after a certain amount of time, the data node is marked as dead. Since blocks will be under-replicated, the system begins replicated the blocks that were stored on the dead data node. The NameNode orchestrates the replication of data blocks from one data node to another. The replication data transfer happens directly between data nodes and the data never passes through the NameNode. Does MapReduce program model provide a way of reduce to communicate with each other? In a MapReduce job, can a reducer communicate with another reducer? Nope. MapReduce program model does not allow reducers to communicate with each other. Reducers run in isolation.